up next, we have our speaker for the evening, Gabriella Barthlow. She is the owner of Alpha Advisory Group. Personally, I know Gabriella. She's a wonderful person. I've known Gabriella for about 3 years now. Has it been about 3 years? Okay. Gabriella has helped score of people restore their credit and help them achieve their financial goals. She is a consumer law advocate with over 20 years of experience in mortgage banking, sales, human resources, and financial and consumer law. Gabriella has taught consumers right classes throughout the United States for organizations ranging from local civil rights groups to the United Auto Workers. She has provided credit consulting nationally and internationally, as well as appeared on various radio stations and on public television. Gabriella is passionate about helping people restore and maintain good credit throughout their lifetime. So, I welcome you, my friend, Gabriella.
So, my name is Gabriella Barthlow, and I was told I had 30 minutes to tell you my story. So, I'm pretty animated, so this should be a whole lot of fun. I actually, I don't prepare a lot of notes when I'm talking from the heart, because how can you talk from the heart if you're reading a bunch of notes? That doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to tell you guys my story, and I'm going to start from the beginning. Like to hear it? Here it go. All right. So finances do not have to be boring. So me as a person, I started actually in the finance world at about the age of 3 or 4. I was the 9th child out of 11, and my father came from another country, and he was very, very frugal. That's the word we're going to use. My mother used to say tight, but anyway, he was frugal, and I used to go with him to pay the bills. Because someone asked me today, they said, Gabe, how did you get started in wanting to coach and help people in the world of finance? That doesn't seem like something you would have done. You know, it's usually bankers, people of that background that get into this industry. I says, no, ever since I was a little girl, I liked money. And I remember when I was 3 years old, my father used to leave money on the dresser for my mother. And I said to her one day, I said, why does Daddy leave money on the dresser for you? She said, because I stay home and take care of the children. I don't go out and work, and so Dad has to give me money. So I went over to my dad. He was getting dressed for work, and I said, Dad, I'm not going this route. I need to work because I want to make my own money. And he said, okay, you can do that, and I'm going to show you how to handle money. So from that day forward, I would go with him to pay all the bills. And he would show me how he allocated the funds from his pay. He was retired from the Navy, so he had a check there, and he also ran a catering business. My dad was a great hustler, and I mean that in the true sense of the word, which it really means a fast-paced worker. So that's how I got started in liking money. My career path went from, I started as an entrepreneur. I ran a water ice stand. I scrubbed people's steps in the neighborhood, and I did laundry for all the single people in the neighborhood. So I had 3 hustles going by the time I was like 10 years old. I was working it. And we grew up a religious family, and so our place of worship would have trips that you can take around the country. Well, guess who got to go with all the adults? Because she had her own money. So I was traveling the whole country between the ages of 10 and 13. I had been to, 25, 30 states. And to include, I went international. I was in Canada, too. And I got the travel bug. So now you have somebody who has the entrepreneurial spirit in addition to the travel bug. So I was like, I got to work the rest of my life because I like living like this. And when I chose work, I noticed, I was thinking about this today when I was sharing my story with my friend. I always use the gifts that I was born with. Some people call them a godsend. They call them your ministry. They call it your vocation. I just call them my gifts. And my gifts are communicating in a way with people, given their subject that I'm teaching, that they get it, understand, and can feel good about it. I know that's a real vague overview, but those are my main gifts. So as an entrepreneur, what I want to share with you as I tell you this story is that you have to know what your overall main gifts are so that as you go through life and you take on different projects or companies, you're always staying true to your ministry or your vocation or your core skills. So growing up from there, let's go to high school. So got through high school and decided at that time I don't want to go to college. I enjoy working and making money too much. And so I worked in the hotel industry, I worked in the restaurant industry, and I worked in clothing sales. I always had 3 things minimum I've done at the same time. I'm not a one-person anything. 3. Usually had 3 boyfriends too. Anywho, just letting you know. I had one for this, one for that, and one for that. Okay, just saying. So that's before I was married. But anyway, so I kept that going till I was about 21 when I got married. And I married a military man. And he wanted to go to school when he got out the service, so guess who was working? And I was okay with it because he was going to college and he worked security part-time. Of course, I got him that job. Anyway, I was bartending, catering, and I decided I'm tired of the hotel industry and all of that. I'm on my feet too much, and I'm, young, but I'm going to get older one day. So I said, I think I want to be in human resources. And I was like, I don't have any college. I don't have any skills in that area. But actually I did. All of that restaurant work, all of that customer service over the years I gave in the hotel industry as well, prepared me for human resources. Because I'm getting hot. A lot of human resources, I get excited when I talk. A lot of human resources is all about relationships and getting along with people and listening to them so you can help them as they work at a corporation. And so Kelly Services gave me my first opportunity. And guess why they gave me the opportunity? I'm just sharing some stuff here, real simple, but it always got me to the next level. They said I filled out the most complete, neatest application they ever saw. I was like, really? Y'all know I got a copy of it, right? I do. I got a copy of it. So there's a lesson in there. Keep track of all your records. Entrepreneurs, keep track of all your records and all your successes. So right now, I probably have 2 folders this thick between certifications, resumes, all kinds of acknowledgments from companies for speaking and all. If anybody asks, they want evidence, I got it. And I scanned it all in the computer. Got all the credentials. So these are just things I'm sharing with you, entrepreneurs. Build it on. So, got into human resources as a personnel clerk. And I latched on to a key thing in life, and I'm sure you all have done this as well, a mentor. I grabbed on to a very wonderful lady who was about 15 years older than me at the time, and I said, would you show me how to live in the corporate world? I come from the restaurant industry, hotel, and sales. Tell me how to play the game. I said, but I don't want to hurt nobody. I want to do it the correct way. So she said, come on. She got me in as the personnel clerk. And all before that, I was a temp. I was floating around the building. And she saw me one day, and she said, woo, you know how to talk. She said, I'm going to tell you what to do. I want you to start wearing suits every day. This was the 80s, y'all. This was the 80s. I know I look young, but I've been around a while. So I started wearing the suits and the heels and all of that, what she told me to do. And she said, sign up for classes. Start taking business classes. So that's what I did. And so she was able to bring me in her department, and I kept moving up until I got into recruitment. You know, I was happy when I got to it. I was like, that's the dream job at that time in my career. And so I did a lot of outreach. And I would go and talk to the universities, recruit the young people fresh out of college, and tell them all about my company. And that's what I did. I worked at Kelly Services World Headquarters. I studied that company inside out. I learned everything about every department. The nuances, the rules of human resources, how to deal with conflict resolution. Even if it wasn't my job, I was listening. I was reading the books when they weren't there. I recruited another person while I was there. Her name was Barb. I will never forget her as long as I live. And again, I'm dating myself. I didn't know how to use computers, and that's when we were word processing and still doing key punching and stuff. And I said, Barb, I will pay you if you stay with me after work and teach me how to really use the computer better so I can be even more helpful to my department. And Barb did. She stayed with me, and she wouldn't take 5 cents. She said, kid, I ain't never seen somebody as ambitious as you are, and you're always happy. I'll help you. Another lesson. Always be pleasant, always smile, and always be willing. Be willing, and always be willing to pay. I don't expect anybody to do anything for me for free, and I don't like when they ask me to do stuff for free. Okay? I'm just, hello? Because if a worker is worthy of their wage, do I need to say it again? A worker is worthy of their wage. That's the 3 W's. Okay? All right. So, moving right along. Stayed in human resources at headquarters for 9 years. Now, here comes another lesson. Not everybody's going to like you in life. Matter of fact, sometimes you're just going to walk by somebody and they're going to hate you and you ain't even done anything. Has that ever happened to anybody besides me? No, you sure? Okay, all right. Well, that's what happened. That lovely person that I was holding on to her jacket, she got promoted in another area. And they brought in a boss from California, and she flew in on her broom. Y'all understand what I'm saying? The first thing she said to me, I was doing my thing, recruiting people and all. She came over to me one day, and she said, you know what your problem is? I said, I got a problem? She said, you're too damn cheerful. I said, oh, it's time to go. So I hurried up and got a transfer, and I left headquarters, and I actually went to the field and became a supervisor. And I thought I was okay. And then about 6 months after being there, that manager said the same thing to me. I said, well, I guess I'm not supposed to be happy in corporate America. So I said, this must be a sign. It's time for me to go out. So 9 years of working between the headquarters and the field, I decided I was going to leave corporate America. And so I said, people have been telling me, Gabe, you're an excellent recruiter. You know how to talk to people. You do career counseling anyway. You're doing all this conflict resolution stuff. You ain't got to do this for other people. Start your own business. I said, I can. I said, okay. And I did. I just started talking to my network. Next lesson, move when you're supposed to move. Don't let nobody put you out. Let it be your decision to move. And so I just talked to all my friends. I put my resume together, and I said, if you have any contractual work that you think I can help you with, let me know. About 30 days later, I got blessed with a contract working for a energy, now totally different field, an energy conservation company. And they hired me as a project manager, and I ran a project for Detroit Edison. It was like fabulous. Thank you. It was just a fabulous position. It taught me a lot. And guess what happened while I was there? I got pregnant. I was like, oh no. I had been married 10 years at this point, and here comes little boo-boo. So I made it through the project, and here was the best part. Laying off is not a bad thing. Did y'all know that? Getting laid off? The contract ended. They laid me off. I was 8 months pregnant. That was a beautiful thing. I was like, I got to be home with the baby and get a check. I had never collected unemployment in my life. So guess what I did? Y'all know I couldn't just sit still. I started a business. I started a travel agency. It was, I found out about, okay, through the networking, being nice to people. They said, Gabe, we know you can't keep still. We got this travel agency opportunity. I think similar to Posh maybe, there's a core, and then you could do a virtual office. So my friend, I said, well, I really don't have money for that right now. I have my money allocated in different. He said, I got you. He said, just promise me this. Learn it, and I need you to start teaching people. He said, I'll fund you to get started. So he did, but I paid him back because I was married. Can't take money from men. That's not cool. So I gave him his money back. Again, nothing for free. Pay people back. So I paid him back his money, started rocking. Okay, so that business was going. Meanwhile, thought I had the flu, was pregnant again. So it's like, oh my goodness. So had another baby, kept the travel agency going. How am I doing on time? Am I boring anybody? Okay, so I'm going to keep it moving. So then there was trouble in paradise. You know, marriages don't always work out. So now I got 2 little children, and I was very unhappy. The more I got successful, it seemed like the other half wasn't happy. He just said to me one day, why can't you just be happy and stay home? I said, do you remember who you married? Have I changed? I've always been a fast-paced, ambitious, gregarious, fun-loving workaholic. And I'm not stopping now when my babies get to do everything with me. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. Anyway, it didn't work. We tried counseling. We tried everything. Next lesson, try everything before you leave so you ain't got to look back. I tried everything. I left. I didn't look back. I kept it moving. Okay, just saying. Y'all want to know the story. I got to tell you the whole story. Okay, not mad at him, by the way. Great ex-husband, makes killer money. I coached him and made sure I took good care of him so he could take care of my children. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And we still friends like that. He need any money stuff, I got him. I said, what you need to do? Because he got an 856 score and a whole lot of money. So I got to make sure he take care of my baby. So whatever I need to do. So be friends with your ex. So from there, so now, bought a house, got a business. In between all of this, developed and I know I'm leaving some chunks out, but I only got 30 minutes. So, meanwhile, I got these other business relationships going. I have contracts to teach employability skills for Michigan Works. Everybody heard of Michigan Works? Okay, wonderful. They have fed me and paid many a bill the last 23 years, let me tell you. So I had contractual work with them, and I worked for a company called the Resource Network, actually helped start the company in between all of this stuff I've been telling you about. Remember, 3 or more things going at the same time. So I buy the house. I get the new car, rocking and rolling. Oh, and on the side, I was doing security. I was doing security on the side. Don't laugh at me, y'all. I was doing security. I had a friend that had a security business. I was doing it too. And something happened politically with the contract, and they shut us down. I said, what in the world? This was 1999, y'all. Shut the contract down. That was my serious dough coming in. So luckily, after the divorce, I had stashed some money. Everything was paid up to par, and I was like, woo, I had killer credit. So what I did was I called all my creditors. This is before I got into the industry, but this is what really got it started that, people needed to know what to do, and then some things fell in line. I'll tell you in a minute. So I called the creditors. I negotiated with everyone. I said, y'all know I ain't never been late on the bill. I've had credit with you 10, 15 years, whatever it was at the time. They said, you're right. I said, I just hit a rough patch. I said, I need you to give me 90 to 120 days to get on my feet, and I'm going to pay you. They said, you know what, Miss Barthlow, because you called us and you told us before you missed the beat, we're going to put your accounts on hold. You ain't got to do nothing for 90 days. Call us back if anything changes. Well, whatever that political problem was, it got lifted. We got back to work. I called them in 90 days. I said, I'm back on track. And I paid them. So I never got a ding or a bing or anything. And mind you guys, I didn't know anything about credit per se. All I knew was how to pay bills. So that's when that kind of started piquing my interest. Well, life is a wonderful thing. If you prepare yourself, things fall in place. So I'm teaching this class, and this young lady just staring at me the whole time in the class and laughing and just engaged. And then she comes at the end. I'm doing employability skills, but she's in the class. So she comes at the end of the class, and she said, my mother just bought a financial management company, and she's working on contracts for Chrysler. She doesn't have an instructor like you. She said, would you please come talk to my mother? I was like, okay. Never pass up an opportunity to interview, ever, because you never know where it'll lead you. Go to meet her mother. She has a different last name. I know the mother from other circles. And she's like, it's you. I said, it's me. and I hadn't seen her in a couple years. So we worked together for a whole year just putting the curriculum together, and I just studied all the materials because she bought the company from a judge. Because I told her I only do things that are legal, ethical, moral, and education-based. I want people to know how to do things. I believe in people fishing for their own fish, not me frying up a dinner for them. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. So when I found out that was the philosophy of her program, I got on board, and I studied my brains out for a year. And then we got the contract with Chrysler, and we started doing money management, getting ready for mortgages, getting your business credit ready, all kinds of, we had 4, 6, and 10-week courses, classes. So that was beautiful. So I taught, again, overlapping. So from 98 to 2003, I worked with her. We brought in several $1 million in revenue. And then things changed. I'm not going to talk bad about somebody, but I'll just say she didn't want to pay me what I was worth. So it was time to part ways. It's all good. It's all good. And I met some wonderful people while teaching there, and they're the ones that said, okay, go on and open your financial management company. You don't need that person. Get it together. So boom, boom, boom. I did my paperwork and got the company going and just started spreading the word. I'm in business. I didn't touch any Chrysler business. Again, being ethical. I didn't touch any of that. I just went out fresh to churches, community centers, and I just started presenting different workshops. And I worked with their budgets, and sometimes I did stuff for free at first, but, I was always blessed to have other contracts, so I was able to do that. So a lesson, when the season is up, keep it moving, okay? Because seasons are going to be up. Which brought me to, we're up to, I'll say 2003 to now. I'll do a quickie. How we doing on time? Because I want to leave question time open. How am I doing? Oh my goodness, I'm doing fabulous. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up in 2 minutes. 13 years in 2 minutes. Foreclosure, bankruptcy, people stealing from me, sickness, death, turning in cars. All of that happened in that 13-year period. And the credit has been rebuilt. And in between all of that, it's made me even a better financial expert, coach, and counselor for people. Because I went from high in the sky, hit the rock bottom financially, and still kept it moving. Cried at night in my own soup, in my own bed, and didn't worry about it. Was even homeless for a minute, y'all. How about them apples? Okay? But you just keep it moving, and you keep your faith. So here's what I want to leave you with before you start asking questions. Uh-oh. I forgot what I was going to say. Hold on. See? Be honest. Tell on yourself. It just went that fast. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Here's what's the most important thing in all of this. You have to know why you are doing what you do. Because no matter going through all of those difficulties, ups and downs, peaks and valleys, treachery, lies, horrible stuff, all of that happened. And I can laugh and smile about it now because I never forgot why I was doing what I was doing. And that's what messes people up in business. They think it's for money. That's not a strong enough why. You have to have to your core why you are doing what you're doing. So why do I do what I do? Because I love it, and it resonates with me, and it flows from me. If I do anything that's resistant, I stop it immediately. Time in life is too short, and so choose your priorities. Thank you so much for letting me share with you. And now I'm open to questions. Yes, sir. Okay, so when it comes to credit, credit is a very personal thing. So here's what I tell people. I'm I'm not selling. I just have to tell you how I work. I'm okay? All right. So what I tell people is you got to look at all three credit reports. Once I see what's in front of me and that individual, let's say it's you, we're going to go through everything. I'm going to ask a lot of questions, and then we will know how to put the plan together. But I can say a whole lot of things, but when it comes to credit, it's all about the individual. So I would actually have to sit down with you to see what we're dealing with, and then I got to know what you're working with, how much money you got, who can we address, should we not kick that beehive, what's going on here? You know, I do this every day with folks. The other thing I just wanted to share with them, Angelita, currently I'm very, very blessed. I have a contract with the federal government. The materials that I brought, they give us all free materials. I work just with veterans. I'm paid just to work with veterans. I'm blessed with another contract. It's a national contract, and I do a lot of coaching over the phone around the country. And then I still have my own company. So for those of you, if you wanted to work with me directly, I have those materials for my own company. So there's three. I still got the three. And I do marketing online, and I do other business consulting. So actually I do 5 things right now. So I talk about people always having flows of income. Yes, ma'am. Challenges were people working against me. I was sleeping with the enemy. So when I started any of my businesses, all of them I started, I was still married. And it was a struggle because it's almost I had to sneak to do my businesses because I had somebody trying to control me. That was the hardest thing, is you're trying to do something for your family, and the person that you're with is working against you. To me, that's the most heartbreaking thing there is. And I know I'm not the only one that goes through it. When I consult with other businesses, a lot of them, it's the same thing. If it's not the spouse, it's a family member working against them. To me, that's the hardest thing. Outside people, I could care less. I kept it moving. And I said, I have to stay true to who I am. I have to. And ultimately, we had to part ways. Because it's hard when something is in your spirit and the person you love doesn't understand that. It would have been different if I changed, Angelita. I was that way from day one. So I didn't change. So being careful, the lesson there is being careful with who you share your dreams and goals with, because not everyone's in your corner. Money and getting funding, all of that, to me that was easy. The hard part is when you have people working against you. Yep. That's my experience. Yes, sir. Growing up, my motivation was I wanted my father to be proud of me, because he came from another country and he took such good care of us, and he took care of his family in the old country. And so I wanted more than anything for my father to be proud of me. And he's still alive, 87 years old, and he is. Yes. And then after I had my children, I wanted them to always be able to look up to me as a mother and a human being. And I'm happy to say my son graduated from Michigan State last Saturday. Yes, yes. And I have a daughter in college, and both of them like me and they love me. So to me, that's all that really matters for the end game. But that's what still motivates me. And then third, I would say when people say that I have helped them in some way, that is the best payday ever. I had a veteran tell me the other day, he said, Gabrielle, I haven't had any hope. He said, this conversation gives me hope. I just fell apart. Because that's really, for me, that's what it's about, is if I'm able to help people. I'm not a savior or anything. I'm just saying it's just being real with people and being a space for letting them be, and they don't have to feel ashamed. Because we all go through. That's why I tell on myself. I done been through it all. Ask me, I'll tell you. I ain't got no problem with it. Because people need to know that they have someone that really understands. So I'm glad I went through all those rough times because I wouldn't be the professional I am today if I had not. I don't want to overstay my welcome. Okay. Oh, yes, sir. That I would say to the younger Gabriella, you was courageous, girl. You had a lot of courage. Yeah, yeah, that's what I would say to her. She was very courageous. And keep it moving. Oh, that's my motto. Keep it moving. You can look up, you can get up.
Thank you, Gabriella. That was a pleasure. So, how many of us are passionate about our business and passionate about the things that we do? Exactly. I know I'm passionate about my business. And I like to say that when I talk about my business, people tend to say that I smile a lot and I get into it, when I'm discussing anything related to my business. And I have to say, yes, because I'm very passionate. I love it. I love what I do. I love talking to people. So definitely, you have to be passionate about what you do, because if you're not passionate about what you do, you're not going to stick with it. So thank you so much, Gabriella. You know I love you. Thank you to our vendors. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Patty. Please stop by their table. Get to know a little bit about their business. Get to know a little bit about them. You may even want to purchase some products. It's okay. I feel a little stress-free, just to let you know. Thank you for the oil. I like that. Um, if you like Agents of Hope and you like what we do and you want to support us, by all means, please visit our website at hopeagents.org. You can go on there. You can donate any amount. We welcome anything that you give. Thank you to everyone for coming out this evening. We will see you again next month, the third Thursday at 6 p.m.